Morning, everybody. Been a great week. Can you sense the sarcasm in the voice there? Today, we're going to review the 2012 Ford F-350. 6.7 turbo diesel. So, as many of you may have noticed, I've been absent the last few days online. Oh, I'll get to it, Brian. Don't worry. The first problem that manufacturers are having lately is they're not building their vehicles to be used in the way that they tout you can use their vehicles. For instance, Ford, in 2012, all the way up until 2016, built a really good 3/4 and 1-ton turbo diesel, especially compared to their prior attempts, let's say, outside of the 7.3. The 6.7 is a good diesel. I'll say that. The engine is fantastic. The transmission is great. Interior layout, perfect. But if you're going to build, first complaint that I have with this truck, which I have fixed on my own dime, If you're going to build a truck that is touted as a towing machine, you probably should not put a fuel tank on it that is a whopping 26 gallons when it gets 13 miles to the gallon, whether it's towing 20,000 pounds or driving around bone empty. The second thing that you should really, really not do is, let me put a picture up here if I can grab it just quick. You should really not. Oh, it's not going to let me here. Hold on just a second. Hang anything underneath your truck that is crucial to the ability of that vehicle to run, that has a very good chance of being damaged. Just see if I can load this image in quick. Bear with me here. Because in their infinite wisdom, they thought they would hang something underneath the truck you can get 30 miles to the gallon out of them. Not the way I drive mine and not the way it's set up. They hung this little lovely contraption, which is the fuel conditioning control module. Farmers and ranchers call this a water separator. But of course we can't use normal terms for, something like this. We have to call it a fuel conditioning module. But they hang this thing underneath the truck. And you see this, where that little yellow petcock is for draining the water out, and that water sensor that's right there? Yeah, that actually hangs below the frame rail of the truck. No, this isn't something for smog. This is it's a primary fuel filter system. It's basically for pulling moisture. In the wintertime, you can get water in your diesel from condensation. And what this does is it catches that water and keeps it kind of in this filter system so you can drain it off. You should drain it off periodically, about every 4,000 to 5,000 miles. You just crack that little petcock open. Let it drain for a little bit until you get clean diesel out of there, and then close it up. It's a great idea. It is a necessity to have on a diesel. However, it is not a necessity to make the fucking thing out of plastic and hang it below the frame rail of a Super Duty truck. Now, I was doing absolutely nothing crazy or insane with this truck. I was not off-roading. I was not driving erratically. I was not, going up over rocks, anything like that. I was actually driving better on Tuesday than I was when we watched that picture of the Thane Creek crossing, which, thank God, I didn't break it up there. No, I was just headed out to the farm, going out to help a buddy of mine with a baler. When we got there, got out of the truck, everything was fine. Yeah, Aaron, I am here. Everything was fine. Drove fine. As it was sitting, though, there was a puddle that was starting to show up underneath the truck. And it was just what it looked to be was the air conditioner unthawing. You know, that condensation that comes off of the air conditioning when you run it. But it was on the wrong side of the truck, so I went, something's wrong here. And it was too far back. So I crawled underneath, looked up, and this lovely little filter system is running, well, not really running, just dripping diesel out of it. I was on the left side, actually. Left side behind the cab, so it wasn't air conditioning by any means. Crawled underneath, noticed the diesel leak. Thought, I wonder if I can limp it home, at least get it to my house before it decides to break or completely come off. So I cycled the key, crawled underneath, and you could hear air sucking up into that filter system. Now, anybody that's ever been around diesels knows that air is the enemy of a diesel engine. So, I thought, well, now mind you, this is like 7 o'clock at night when we noticed this. Yeah, that'd be great, catch a fire underneath there. So it's about 7 o'clock at night when we noticed this, so needless to say, gathering up parts was not going to be easy. Yeah, well, it works now. Took me 2 days to get it fixed, but anyway, we ran back into town, grabbed my other pickup, headed back out, gathered up the family, headed home for the night. I thought, well, I can't be the only person that this happens to, so hopefully there's a few of these out there. Oh, diesels definitely run off pressure. So, no, actually, Brian, sorry. The other truck that I came out and grabbed was a 1995 Chevy 1500 regular cab. Probably the last years that I would ever own a Chevy. I know there's Chevy guys out there, I'm just saying. When they went away from the square body, that's when I went away from Chevrolet. Anywho. So we get home that night at about 11 o'clock by the time we get done scrambling everything around. Come in, try to get some sort of sleep just quickly. Wake up the next morning, call my local dealer here. They don't have one. Call a buddy of mine that works on a bunch of Fords. Figured he may have one laying around. He had one. He's went through 3 of them. Call down to the big city close to me. They don't have one. Can get it in a couple of days. I don't have a couple of days. So I get calling around a little further out, a little further out, a little further out. I finally find 2 of them. Oh, yeah, yeah. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow, they all run the same way. I find 2 of them. Now all I'm looking for is just the little cap. It goes on the bottom. Not the whole unit. That unit actually threads in half and there's a filter inside of there. I just wanted the bottom part. So I find 2 in a town that is 190 miles away. One direction. So we get up early in the morning, take off, get over there, get the parts, head back. Now, mind you, once I get home from there, I still have another 30-mile drive to go and get the truck. So we get home, we head back, out to the farm. Crawl underneath. It's like a 10-minute fix. It isn't long. It took longer calling around all over God's green earth looking for this damn little cap than it did to just, change the O-ring, thread it back on. Had to change out the water sensor. Change out the plug. So the last 2 days, of course, this is all coming off of this wedding that we, put in a fair amount of work on. The last 2 days, I've been home 10:30, 11 o'clock every night. I have missed my opportunities on Ridge Live, which I dreadfully regret. I actually missed the heck out of being on there. All thanks to some engineer in his infinite wisdom thinking, we know how guys are going to use these trucks. Most people that buy these trucks are either farmers or ranchers. Well, farmers or ranchers are the U.S. government. That's the biggest buyer of the Ford F-Series Super Duty. So, hey, let's make a dinky little fuel tank and hang a fucking piece of plastic underneath that can easily get hit by any small rock. I mean, this thing didn't even show damage. There was no nick, no dent, no nothing. But there was an obvious crack running from one side to the other. So needless to say, I was not, by any stretch of the imagination, impressed with the Ford engineers at that time. I was equally not impressed with the availability of parts now after the dreaded COVID-19. Trying to get parts to your house is just impossible right now. I guess when you're this far behind in manufacturing, things get a little tough. And what pisses me off the most is they obviously knew this was a problem. Because there has been 7 superseded numbers of this cap. So what that means is they re-engineered the cap 7 times after producing it. So, in 2017 on, it's a flat-faced box filter for the water separator that happens to only be about 2.5-3 inches thick and hides well above the frame rail to where rocks don't have a tendency to damage it so bad. Oh, yeah, the fuel tank. So the Titan company out of, I want to say they're either out of Washington or Idaho. Titan fuel tanks. I would recommend this product. Titan actually was aware of the issues with a 26-gallon fuel tank. Now, mind you, the 26-gallon fuel tank that I'm talking about here, that's 26 gallons bone dry to completely full. That means an average, usually you have about 3 gallons of reserve once your fuel tank hits empty. Means you have a little bit longer to get to where you need to go. The fuel tank I put underneath this truck now is 55 gallons. I fill it up once. I have about almost 700 miles till empty. Of course, that was to the cost of... I don't think they're connected to Nissan. I don't even know if they offer a tank for Nissan. I know they offer tanks for quite a bit of different stuff. But, yeah, it was nice to be able to fill a tank up and not have to worry about running out of fuel. Because, mind you, anywhere you go in the state of Montana, you're 100 miles from nowhere, anywhere that you're located. So, yeah, to get anywhere, you're going to burn 100 miles. And if your truck is only getting 230 miles till empty, well, that's not very many trips. You're filling the damn thing up every 2 seconds. You only have a 26-gallon tank, yeah. I think they make a tank for your truck. But mind you, that tank was almost $2,000 that I ordered for it. So now you buy a $48,000 truck and you have to order another $2,000 fuel tank to fix the mistakes of engineers. So yeah, it's slowly becoming a good truck. Unfortunately, I'm having to modify a lot of things that you shouldn't have to when you spend that kind of money. Anyway, how in the hell have you guys been? I haven't been around. I haven't seen how everybody was doing. AG, have you had a chance to... did you stream on Monday? That's when kind of all of this shit went down, so... 50 to 60 gallon fuel tank. Yeah, look them up. It's Titan fuel tanks. It should be like an orange logo. How'd it go, AG? Did you do well? If you guys haven't had a chance, please go over and follow Mr. American Grizzly. Hey, 3 hours is... Anytime you can stream, just stream, buddy. Even if it's, hour and a half. Today very well could be a short show, because I'm still seething a little bit from my, I'm licking my wounds, let's say. I'm not thoroughly impressed with Ford Motor. The Ridge Streams Queen. I did hear that that we elected Catherine as our queen. How's that going? AG, do you, now, we'll get into some questions here that you may or may not want to answer. Maybe I'll wait and talk to you on Discord about that. She's our queen. She demands nothing. Well, that's a good queen. Oh, yes, and on top of this wonderful, outstanding week that I've been having, we are heading into one of the hottest weeks we've had in June in a very long time. fire is a definite concern right now. So the outdoor show is up in question because the areas that I go, I probably should not be taking a pickup. Because there's a very high probability of fires right now. It is ridiculously hot. 4:33 in the a.m. and it's 77 degrees. Yeah. Aaron, you guys are kind of in the same boat we are down here. I heard it was scarily hot up in Canada right now. And supposed to be all this week. To give you guys an idea of what we're looking at over here in Montana. Now, mind you, we have a drought in progress right now. So it is currently 11:35 in the a.m. here in the great state of Montana. And we're looking at 89 degrees. A Ford is not considered a pickup. Oh, it's a pickup. It's not a truck, that's for sure. But 89 frickin' degrees already. And we're not even into the heat of the day. Today we're looking at a high of 97 degrees. Thursday, high of 100. Friday, a high of 101. Saturday, a high of 97. Sunday, a high of 97. Alberta and Montana. Yeah, we're just going to stick together here and just melt into one big... What would that be? Montera? How would you say that? Alberta and... Monerta. Yeah. It's going to be ridiculous. And it's scary because we've actually had... the only place it's been raining is in the mountains. And it hasn't rained up there in over a week. But the problem with that is you get really good undergrowth, nice tall grass, everything going on underneath those trees. And one little spark, and away it goes. Uh-huh. Yeah, fire season's going to be... The West is going to burn up this year, I'm thinking. And I'll tell you what, driving around checking crops. Ugh. When you got... You guys understand that there's two different kinds of wheat, right? Well, there's actually multiple different kinds of wheat, but you have a winter wheat and a spring wheat. Winter wheat is seeded early fall. Then it goes dormant over the summer, or over the winter, I guess I should say. And then comes back in springtime. Winter wheat is seeded in early spring, and then hopefully has a chance to grow. Well, the spring wheat right now is heading out, which heading out means that it's producing the wheat finally. It's a kind of a grass grain, but it's producing the wheat. And the spring wheat actually has, well, a lot of it is not much higher than last year's stubble. Stubble is what's left over after you cut the field. So that means that it's a plant about, well, if you know how big a Yeti mic is, it's about the size of a Yeti mic with a little head sticking up. About that big. That should be, 1.5 to 2 feet tall. It's nowhere close to that. Some people claim that spring wheat has a better quality to it. I don't know. Don't know. I couldn't tell you the difference when you bake a loaf of bread with it. Oh, we did have a little bit of excitement yesterday. After coming back from moving the baler, came across a rattlesnake. Needless to say, my son now has a set of rattles. I'm hoping. For some reason, I just noticed something here. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.